already good to permit all the Gambia people to go back to their country. Because not only that you need to watch the news on the TV, or to have some information and to say no, all the Gambia need to go back to their country because they have already the new president, or the democracy already installed in that country. Then I want to conclude to say that the government need to go back again to think about this question, to think how to do with Gambia refugees who live in Germany already a long time, because there are so many. They cannot send all the Gambia people in their country. They contribute so many for the development of this country, and they need also to continue to live in this country, because this country is already for them like a new country. They are already integrated and they're feeling really good in this country. And I hope that the situation could change, and we hope also that Angela Merkel could make something.
Yeah. Thank you very much. As you have just highlighted on the issue of the refugee situation and the political situation in Gambia, just by going according to records, right now, as I just told some people in a panel just last week, that there is a changes of government in the Gambia. But the changes is only about the leadership. Like the former president is out, we have a new president. But yet still, notwithstanding, all the other permanent secretaries in all the ministries who were there for the former president are still the same people who are there in those positions.
Exactly.
So what has changed? That's why I always tell them it's only the leadership that has changed. But apart from the leadership, nothing else has changed in the Gambia. And this is the hard fact and the reality that we are still facing in the country. There are still a lot of economic hardships in the country. Nothing is going. There is still, and even though people will sit for days without water, electricity is getting from bad to worst. Yeah. These are all the problems that even with the new government have started, and these are some of the things that they are going through. It's now almost more than 6 months since they took over, but still now there is not even a vice president. They cannot even have a full cabinet. That a cabinet that is less than 30 people. Still now they cannot employ a full cabinet. Yeah. So what is then in place? And the issue is that at least the Gambia is heading to a place of at least a conflict of tribal conflict, because the former government was from another tribe, and now the new government is like from the majority of the tribe. But now they are trying to at least suppress the other people because their tribe is the majority. But when you look at the former government also, looking at it, the military, they comprise of the largest number in the military. Because the former president, because what put him as a dictator was that he was recruiting people who are from his ethnic group, who are not Gambians, but from the other part of Senegal, who are just next to his hometown. So that's what makes, at least you have almost about 75% of the military are from his ethnic group. And this is what is making it a big problem. Just less than 2 months ago, there was even this conflict between the economic community of West African forces and the Gambian armed forces. And there was even shooting until about 7 of the Gambian armed forces had to at least sustain gunshot injuries. And after that last month also, it was a similar thing. The people from the hometown of the former president, they were demonstrating peacefully, saying that they don't want some of these soldiers there because they need at least to live in peace, not to be living in fear, seeing these soldiers every day with weapons. And they were demonstrating. And as a result of that, these other soldiers have to retaliate and have to at least open fire on them. Some have sustained gunshot wounds, and one of the relatives of the president, happens to die because of a gunshot wound. These are all things that are also going. That's why even the president himself is still very afraid. On the 4th of June, they had this Economic Community of West African State Presidents. They had a meeting that they held. During the time of this meeting, in Mali, they had to at least extend the time of these forces, foreign forces who are in the country, because the president said it's not still safe for him in the country. So when the president himself is not feeling safe, how do you think the citizens, when the president is having all the security and all those things, he said it's not safe, so they have to at least extend the mandate for another 12 months. So this is the current reality that is happening in the country. Still now, journalists are being arrested and they are still being detained, because there is one journalist by the name of Babukar. Many of us knew him in Gambia. He's very active. He's a sport journalist, because the government happens to sell the land that one of the communities used to play football, and that is the only place they have there as their football field. And they decided to at least organize a press conference and print banners to discuss about these issues. But after all those things, the police have to go and address this boy. They said, why should he print banners and organize a press conference without having a permit? And the president has pledged that at least there should be at least press freedom. but that press freedom is not still in the Gambia. So these are all the challenges that we are being faced with in a country. But that's why many people, as I was discussing last week with people of looking at that, they are the ones who are also giving information to the government about the issue of the situation of the Gambia. And I discussed with Julian and others, and I made it to them to understand. And he even agreed that the situation is in the Gambia. That's what they advised the government, that there could be a coup d'etat anytime. Because looking at the way the situation is, because most of the Gambian armies, because they are all disarmed, all the security is in the hands of these foreign forces. So most of them are very angry. They feel that at least the government is looking low upon them and all those things. So they are having that grievances and they are very angry. So when all these things happens, many times at least it can lead to conflict. And when it comes to conflict, it's going to be like an ethnic conflict. Some of them, even who have at least problems in the military, almost about 250 of them have to flee the country and are now currently in Mauritania. And we all know that Mauritania, that president was a very close friend of our own former dictator. So they are staying there, who knows what they are planning. So these are all issues that are really happening in the Gambia. Even the assassin team of the former president, some of them are in Senegal, they are out, they all ran away. Some of them are in other countries. Some of them are living with the president right now in Equatorial Guinea. So this current situation of the Gambia is still at limbo. Nobody knows what could happen in the near future. But all of us are hoping and praying that at least maybe peace could return and there could be democracy. Because right now, even for the parliament to sit and discuss since after 6 months, it's only 2 parliament meetings that they had. So this is telling you that things are not still in place. And the issue is that at least employments and appointments are only made through the issue of a political party, and people voted for a coalition, a group of parties to come to lead the country. But now, because of the president was from another party, now they are focusing on the interests of their own political party than the other parties. So this is also bringing at least a little of differences between their own party, the president himself, and his other colleague, the foreign minister, and the other political parties. So some of the other political parties have to even withdraw, that they don't want to be part of the cabinet. So these are all challenges that are in the country right now. And we hope that at least this could be addressed in the near future. And if there is peace, I always tell people there is nowhere like home. Everybody, home is sweet. And everybody, when you have peace of mind and what you need, you'll always want to stay at home.
Yeah, I have one question about this problem. You know, when I remember about, I have a conversation with one authority of migration of the BAM from 2 weeks ago. And he explained me something. He told me that every Gambia will come in Germany have his story. The story is about the problem that happened in the country in the time of the former president. And when the new president arrived in the country now, maybe that person who have that history, maybe when he go back to the country now, the new president can accept him with this condition. You understand what I mean? Yeah, that's if the refugees Gambia leave their country is because it was not possible to him to leave for the regime of the former president. And now if they have the new president and they have a new regime, the democracy, and if they have a democracy in Gambia now, it means that all the people who live in the time of the former president could live in better now with the new president. What do you think about that?
Yeah, just like I said, I think everything has to do with security. Because if there is no security, you cannot guarantee a better future. Because in the absence of security, there is no hopeful future in a country. Because looking at it, because there are a lot of guns, like containers of guns, weapons, heavy weapons that are missing. And the former president is the one who used to sponsor the rebel group that is in Casamas, that is just a stone throw from his own hometown. He even give them food and everything. He take care of them. So they were just going in and out from their own place to the Gambia. Every time you go around the president's hometown, you see them. They are like Gambians. And all those things are things that they are missing right now. And because they were having that support from him, and they are no longer having it. So as rebels, the moment they are no longer having it, when they go hungry and other things, they might always want to make sure that they want to reinstall that former president.
Yeah.
And secondly, just like you said, because of the former president, there are some people who are here from the Gambia, like me, because we do a lot of activism. When you are an activist, when it comes to the issue of gay rights and other lesbians and other homosexuals, you still cannot even live in the Gambia. One, because that the ethnic and religious backgrounds in the country.
The homosexuality in Gambia is
still forgotten. Because the reason why I'm saying this is that in the Gambia, there is nothing like an amendment of the constitution. People were saying that there are draconian laws in the former constitution because of the other president. But still now, for 6 months, there is no amendment that is done in the constitution. And this new president is sworn by the same constitution that he have taken an oath to defend. So it's telling you that he have to work in line with that constitution until it is amended. But there is no amendment that is done in that constitution. So all the bad laws that were there are still applicable in the Gambia. And secondly, when the foreign affairs minister was asked by journalists, when the new government come, he was asked about the issue of how are you going to protect the rights of activists and activists who are even trying to at least fight for the rights of gays and lesbians. He said the Gambia, the majority of the population, almost 98%, are Muslims. They cannot guarantee the safety of those people and their security. How do we expect to live in a country where your safety and security is not guaranteed? In the Gambia, because things are turning the worst now, people are raping people. People are entering people's home, killing them. Just last month, there is this woman who was pregnant and was murdered cold-blooded in her own room at night. So it's telling you that the security is very weak right now compared to when the president was, even he was a dictator, but most of these problems were not happening before. So it's telling you that the security situation in the Gambia now is getting from bad to worst. And most of the people he was using to target other people who are talking against him, most of them are still outside in Casamas and other places. And time to time,